Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for another YouTube video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Brielle, and welcome to the family. So today I'm going to talk about Proverbs 4:23. It says, above all things, guard your hearts, for everything flows from it. So there's a reason why God tells us to guard our hearts above all the physical body parts that we have. Okay. Every body part is physical, obviously. The most important body part is your heart, because everything that you do, every feeling that you have, every experience stems from your heart, because if your heart is clean, then your feelings will be pure, your feelings will be positive, your feelings will be nurturing, your actions will do the same. Because if your heart is feeling good, if your heart is feeling positive, then positive things are going to come out of that, But if your heart is negative, it will harbor and nurture negative actions, negative thoughts, negative feelings, So we should actually, that's why when the verse in the Bible, is it Romans? I think it's in Romans, that talks about do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be renewed by transforming your mind, by the transformation of your mind, right? So your mind cannot be transformed if your heart has not been transformed. So your heart is very, very important. So I just want to read you guys a passage from the Bible that I read yesterday. It's so funny how every time I want to talk about something I always come across, I always encounter things that relate to that, So I was reading yesterday Matthew, the passage where the Pharisees were asking Jesus. They were trying to they were trying to oppose Jesus, and then they asked him, Jesus was preaching, and then the Pharisees came to him and told him you're preaching all these things, but why is it that your disciples are breaking the law? So Jesus asked them what law are you talking about? And then they talked about where the disciples eat food without washing their hands. But then this is what Jesus said to them. He told them unclean, the passage is about clean and unclean. So obviously in the Bible there are some foods in what? I think it's Exodus, I'm not sure, but I think it's Exodus. Where God was talking about what foods we are not supposed to eat, the foods that are clean and unclean. The passage goes, Jesus called the crowd to him and said, listen and understand. What goes into a man's mouth does not make him unclean, but what comes out of his mouth, that is what makes him unclean. Then the disciples came to him and asked, do you know that the Pharisees were offended when they heard this? He replied, every plant that my heavenly Father has not planted will be pulled up by the roots. Leave them, they are blind guides. If a blind man leads a blind man, both will fall into a pit. Peter said, explain the parable to us. Are you still so dull? Jesus asked them, don't you see that whatever enters the mouth goes into the stomach and then out of the body, but the things that come out of the mouth come from the heart. Now this is the most important part. Comes from the heart, and this make a man unclean. For out of the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false testimony, and slander. These are what make a man unclean, but eating with unwashed hands does not make him unclean. You've heard, out of the heart stems a lot of things, you know, because how you feel, you know. That's why, like, I was listening to a sermon today in the morning from Pastor T.D. Jakes. He was talking about, like, you know, he read a verse that said, like, a man, the work of a man, who is the wrath of a man, cannot work with the righteousness of God. That means, like, when you're angry as a man, like, your feelings, you're angry, you're like you're terrible to people, you know, all those vices, they don't go hand in hand with the righteousness of God. Like, when you're dealing with all those things inside you, and then you come to God and pray for your prayers to be answered, don't expect your prayers to be answered, because you've not cleaned yourself, you know, you've not gotten rid of all those demonic feelings that you're experiencing, you know. So I think that also goes with what I've read today. So I'm like, when God tells us, above all things, guard your hearts, he knows what he's talking about, you know. And I know we are not perfect, but we should strive to have clean hearts, good hearts, you know, because from there comes everything else. Like, how you're feeling in your heart will determine how you treat the people around you, how you treat yourself, your actions, like even how you treat God, you know, because you can't say you represent God and you're not being godly, you know. So yeah, take care of your hearts and let's, you know, try to follow the teachings of Jesus and then, like, in Jesus's footsteps, you know. Yeah, so you guys, I'll see you guys in my next video. Love you guys, stay blessed.